Well, I guess you're to be congratulated, Donnie. I heard this afternoon that you climbed all the way to the top of Johnson's Hill.
I want to climb to the top of the Big Pine foothills. That's twice as high.
Donnie, you're never satisfied. You remind me of Theodore the turtle. He was never satisfied either. He was little, and he wanted to be big. One day, he saw a billboard advertising a circus. There was a picture of an elephant, and that did it. So he hurried off to the woods to see the wise but always sleepy old Mr. Toad.
Mr. Toad. Mr. Toad. Mr. Toad. Wake up!
Oh, what is it, Theodore? You dissatisfied?
Well, yeah. How can you tell?
Lucky guess. You'd be dissatisfied if you had good health, $1 million, and a wagon with purple wheels, and a pink rope to pull it with.
You're probably right, Mr. Toad. But this time, I want to be big, 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 like an elephant. Because I'm so little that nobody notices me. Everybody looks up to an elephant. Golly, they'd have to.
Let's get it over with. Here's the wishing pond. Turn around 3 times, and we'll see what
happens.
Happens.
So Theodore turned around 3 times, and quick as a wink, Theodore was as big as an elephant.
Wow! Thanks, Mr. Toad! He never says you're welcome.
Because he was so big, Theodore's legs were longer, and he could walk faster. It didn't take him any time at all to reach the big highway and head for home.
Hey, gang! Look at the big turtle! Looks just like the Big Pine foothills! Come on! Let's climb to the top!
They jumped up and down and had a fine time. But Theodore didn't enjoy it.
Why not, Uncle Dunkle?
Well, you see, Donnie, when anybody touches a turtle, they put their head and tail and legs inside their shell. And with his head inside, Theodore felt like you would if you got inside a big church bell when it was ringing. He thought he couldn't stand it much longer when, luckily, the boys decided it was time to go home for supper. Theodore started down the road again. He was passing a restaurant when a man ran out wearing a cook's apron and a cook's hat.
Why, Uncle Dunkle?
Because he was a cook.
Oh.
And the man said, "Ooh, look at that turtle. It's gigantic. With that turtle, I could make turtle stew for 3 months. I'll get a rope, and I'll tie him up." But as soon as the cook ran into the restaurant for a rope, Theodore headed for the river and jumped in. But he wasn't a little feller now, and he didn't sink to the bottom like he used to. He stuck way out. The water just came to the lower part of his shell. He was wondering what to do next when he heard the restaurant man talking. Where's that big turtle? Where'd he go? Don't see him nowheres. He just plumb disappeared. Look at that big rock out there in the river. Must have rolled down the mountainside. I sure would like to know what happened to that turtle. Well, Theodore was out of that predicament, but worse was to come. Theodore was just crawling out of the riverbank when he heard another man, sort of half talking to himself.
Say, this big turtle would make a real nice ferry boat. I could just build a platform on his back for people to stand on, and it would be a form of livelihood for me to turn an honest dollar.
And did he, Uncle Dunkle? Did he make a ferry boat out of Theodore?
He sure did, Donnie, and charged people 25 cents to go over the river. For weeks and weeks, all Theodore did was haul folks across the river. Got pretty tiresome, I can tell you.
And Theodore could tell you, too.
Well, he just about made up his mind that this was what he was going to do the rest of his livelong life. when he spied the wise but always sleepy old Mr. Toad sunning himself on a log.
Oh, Mr. Toad, am I overjoyed to see you?
Who am I talking to?
Open your sleepy eyes, Mr. Toad.
Oh, it's a good suggestion, yes.
Oh, it's Theodore. I'd give anything to be little again, Mr. Toad. Nobody ever noticed me when I was little.
Yeah, but I thought you wanted to be noticed.
Not anymore. Oh, no. Look at all these people on my back. If I could only escape and get back to that wishing pond, oh boy.
Not much chance of that, Theodore.
I don't see anything to laugh at, Mr. Toad.
I was laughing about how funny these folks will look when they all fall in the river.
Fall in the river?
That's right. That's right, Theodore. I figured you'd change your mind about being big, so I brought some wishing pond water in this leaf. So you can do your wishing right here in the middle of the river. Now, I'm going back home. I'll see you again when you're satisfied.
Well, sir, Theodore turned around 3 times by the wishing pond water in the leaf, and he became little again.
What about the people on his back?
They grabbed the log that sleepy old Mr. Toad had been sunning himself on and paddled to the riverbank, safe and sound.
And what about Theodore?
He was happy to be little again.
You gonna tell me another story now, Uncle Dunkle?
Donnie, like I said, you're just like Theodore.
Never satisfied.
Donnie isn't feeling so good today, so I'm going to call him up and tell him a story over the phone. Surprise! Surprise! Now, don't say anything, Donnie. This is your old Uncle Dunkle with a swell story to cheer up the sick boy. I'll just lay the phone on this pillow and speak up so you can hear me good. Way down south in the Antarctic regions of the world, where the snow snows and the wind blows, and it's always 50 degrees below zero, lives an amusing little bird called the penguin. The penguin has wings but can't fly, so when he's in the water, where he spends most of his time, he uses his wings as flippers, and he can zip through the water at 25 miles an hour. Think of that! He dives for fish and swims under the water with the greatest of ease. His body is black, and his breast is white, and he waddles along like an ice skater with weak ankles. Once there was a little boy penguin named Pennie, and a little girl penguin named Guinnie.
Hello, Pennie.
Hello, Guinnie. Goodbye, Guinnie.
Where are you going?
I don't know, but if I don't hurry up, I'll be late.
Are you mad about something, Pennie?
Why should I be mad about something?
Tell me about it. Maybe I can help, because I'm your friend.
Did I give you permission to be my friend?
You don't like me.
Well, sure I do. But don't go getting any ideas about it. You won't catch me dropping a pebble at your feet like some of these other pushover penguins.
You see, Donnie, when a boy penguin drops a pebble at the feet of a girl penguin, it means that he wants her to be his girlfriend. But if she doesn't want to be, she just kicks the pebble away.
I'm glad you like me, Pennie, but what are you mad about?
I'm mad at the Emperor. Thinks he's so smart just 'cause he's 3 feet tall.
The Emperor wouldn't be the Emperor unless he was 3 feet tall. That's the rule.
Always telling us what to do, when to go fishing, watch out for the polar bears.
That's what the Emperor is supposed to do. He takes care of us.
Well, he's not going to tell me what to do anymore, Guinnie. I've had it. Goodbye. I'm going to do a little fishing over by the iceberg. See you later.
It's dangerous by the iceberg, Pennie.
But stubborn little Pennie headed straight for the iceberg.
Hey, now this is more like it. Yeah, it feels good to be on my own. Yeah, nothing dangerous about an old iceberg. Hey, I bet there's good fishing around here. Hey, look at that big chunk of snow on the iceberg. Bet it's soft. I'm gonna jump on it. Here goes. Oh, I jumped right on top of a polar bear. I got trouble. Mr. Polar Bear, it's me, Pennie the Penguin. Oh, I'm such a dumb sock. I jumped on top of you because I thought you were a big snowdrift, you know. You did resemble a big snowdrift. And, well, for what it's worth, I apologize. I accept your apology. It was extremely rude of you to jump on me. Most animals are scared of me. I know. I'm one of them. I am pretty mean. Mainly because it's expected of me. Well, sure, it's your image. Indubitably. The mothers of the smaller animals get their kids to obey by, saying things like, "You better stay close to home, or the polar bear's gonna get you." Yeah, that's what Guinnie said to me. Guinnie's your mother? But if she plays her cards right, she might end up being my girlfriend. You know something? There's a lot of polar bears who would consider a chubby little penguin like you a delightful snack for their coffee break. You're gonna have me for a snack? No. Because you've taken a liking to me, huh? Partly. I'm also on a diet. Very strict. Oh. Nothing personal, you understand. You look delicious. Oh, look, if you like me partly, would you do me a favor? You see, I got this possible girlfriend who's crazy about me. Oh, yeah, Guinnie. See, if I put a pebble at her feet and she kicks it away, I'm going to look pretty foolish, right? But then what do I know about snacks? I mean penguins. What do you want me to do? I thought maybe you could, make a surprise visit tomorrow and we could have a confrontation. Eyeball to eyeball, and I would step forward and command you to get lost. You'd take off, and I'd be a big hero. And your girlfriend Guinnie wouldn't kick your pebble? Precisely. And what's in it for me? I just won't tell everybody what a big softy you really are.
So the next day, the polar bear lunged into the penguin camp, growling up a storm.
Polar bear, stop that! Stop that annoying growling at once! Can't you see you're scaring my friends? Out, out, out! Or I'll give it to you good!
Oh, Pennie, how brave you are.
All right, that's it, Polar Bear. On the double now. Out, out, move! Okay, don't hurt me. I won't ever bother you snacks. I mean, penguins again. Don't hurt me. Well, see that you don't, or it's gonna go hard on you. I show no mercy.
Pennie, you were wonderful.
Aw, it was something.
Something? Usually heroes that I've heard about say, "Aw, it wasn't anything."
Yeah, but this was something. The way I handled that polar bear. What verve! What nerve! Incidentally, Guinnie, did you notice that pebble I put at your feet? This one? Hey! What'd you kick it for? I did a brave deed! Don't you want to be my girlfriend?
You're just another pushover penguin. I might have yesterday, but today I got an offer to appear at the San Diego Zoo. It's really a rare opportunity. Maybe I'd become a movie star.
I can't believe it. You actually kicked my personal pebble away. Now I'm going to look foolish, and I'll never see you again. In that order.
Aw, Pennie, I was just teasing you. The Explorer is taking both of us to the San Diego Zoo. What are you doing?
I'm dropping another pebble at your feet.
And this time, I'm not kicking it away. I'm picking it up.
San Diego Zoo, here we come!
And that's the story, Donnie. How'd you like it? Donnie? Huh? You don't sound like Donnie. Who is this? Ajax Laundry? Wrong number. Sorry about that. What? Oh, you say you enjoyed the story. Oh, thanks. Now I gotta call Donnie and tell him this story all over again. I'm Joe Bev, and this is the Joe Bev Show. And now, Sherlock Holmes and the Field Bazaar.
I should certainly do it, said Sherlock Holmes. I started at the interruption, for my companion had been eating his breakfast with his attention entirely centered upon the paper, which was propped up by the coffee pot. Now I looked across at him to find his eyes fastened upon me with the half-amused, half-questioning expression which he usually assumed when he felt he had made an intellectual point. Do what? He smiled as he took his slipper from the mantelpiece and drew from it enough shag tobacco to fill the old clay pipe with which he invariably rounded off his breakfast. A most characteristic question of yours, Watson. You will not, I am sure, be offended if I say that any reputation for sharpness which I may possess has been entirely gained by the admirable foil which you have made for me. Have I not heard of debutantes who have insisted upon plainness in their chaperones? There is a certain analogy. Our long companionship in the Baker Street rooms had left us on those easy terms of intimacy, when much may be said without offence. And yet I acknowledged that I was nettled at his remark. I may be very obtuse, but I confess that I am unable to see how you have managed to know that I was asked to help the Edinburgh University Bazaar. Precisely. The letter has only just come to my hand, and I have not spoken to you since. In spite of that, I would even venture to suggest that the object of the bazaar is to enlarge the university cricket field. The fact is, my dear Watson, that you are an excellent subject. You are very blasé. You respond instantly to any external stimulus. Your mental processes may be slow, but they are never obscure. And I found during breakfast that you were easier reading than the leader in the Times in front of me. I should be glad to know how you arrived at your conclusions. I fear that my good nature in giving explanations has seriously compromised my reputation. But in this case, the train of reasoning is based upon such obvious facts that no credit can be claimed for it. You entered the room with a thoughtful expression, the expression of a man who is debating some point in his mind. In your hand you held a solitary letter. Now, last night you retired in the best of spirits, so it was clear that it was this letter in your hand which had caused the change in you. This is obvious. It is all obvious when it is explained to you. I naturally asked myself what the letter could contain which might have this effect upon you. As you walked, you held the flap side of the envelope towards me, and I saw upon it the same shield-shaped device which I have observed upon your old college cricket cap. It was clear, then, that the request came from the Edinburgh University, or from some club connected with the university. When you reached the table, you laid down the letter beside your plate, with the address uppermost, and you walked over to look at the framed photograph upon the left of the mantelpiece. What next? I began by glancing at the address, and I could tell, even at the distance of 6 feet, that it was an unofficial communication. This I gathered from the use of the word doctor upon the address, to which, as a bachelor of medicine, you have no legal claim. I knew that the university officials are pedantic in the correct use of titles, and I was thus enabled to say with certainty that your letter was unofficial. When, on your return to the table, you turned over your letter and allowed me to perceive that the enclosure was a printed one, and the idea of a bazaar first occurred to me, I had already weighed the possibility of its being a political communication, but this seemed improbable in the present stagnant conditions of politics. When you returned to the table, your face still retained its expression, and it was evident that the examination of the photograph had not changed the current of your thoughts. In that case, it must itself bear upon the subject in question. I turned my attention to the photograph, therefore, and saw at once that it consisted of yourself as a member of the Edinburgh University 11, with the pavilion and cricket field in the background. My small experience of cricket clubs has taught me that next to churches and cavalry ensigns, they are the most debt-laden things upon earth. When upon the return to the table I saw you take out your pencil and draw lines upon the envelope, and I was convinced that you were endeavoring to realize some projected improvement which was to be brought about by a bazaar. Your face still showed some indecision, so that I was able to break in upon you with my advice that you should assist in so good an object. Of course. It was as easy as possible. I may add that the particular help which you had been asked to give was that you should write in their album, and you have already made up your mind that the present incident will be the subject of your article. But how? It is as easy as possible, and I leave its solution to your own ingenuity. In the meantime, you will excuse me if I return to this very interesting article upon the trees of Cremona, and the exact reasons for the preeminence in the manufacture of violins. It is one of those small outlying problems to which I am sometimes tempted to direct my attention. Sherlock Holmes and the Field Bazaar on the Joe Bev Show. I'm Joe Bev.
Can't get enough of what you hear? Well, just go to Amazon.com and search for Joe Bev.